journey starts. Eternity is in our hearts. This is the beginning. Our story never ending. Our faith is gonna lead the way. Guide us every step we take. Hey, we're on our way to Mars. Hey, we're waving to the stars. We will learn to trust God's power at work in us. Hey, we're on our way to Mars and beyond. Heart, mind, soul, strength. We will give you everything. You're the one we're living for. Jesus, we are yours. Hey, we're on our way to Mars. Hey, we're waving to the stars. We will learn to trust God's power at work in us. Hey, we're on our way to Mars and beyond. God loves me more than I ever will know. God holds my heart and will never let go. Faith is the first step, we're never alone. We're part of the story to Mars and beyond. God loves you more than you ever will know. God holds your heart and will never let go. Faith is the first step, we're never alone. We're part of God's story to Mars and beyond. Hey, we're on our way to Mars. Hey, we're waving to the stars. We will learn to trust God's power at work in us. Hey, we're on our way to Mars and beyond.
Hello again, everybody. How are we doing today? How are all our boys? Are you excited to be back? Are you excited to be back on the Mars? How are you doing, AP320?
Pretty good. Yeah, nothing really going on.
All right. So here on Mars, we really like to start singing. So we're going to have another song prepared for you guys right now. And I want to see you guys moving. I'm going to be moving along with you. Are you guys ready? All right. Let's get moving.
We have seen a vision. This is where the journey starts. Eternity is in our hearts. This is the beginning. Our story never ending. Our faith is gonna lead the way. Guide us every step we take. Hey, we're on our way to Mars. Hey, we're waving to the stars. We will learn to trust soul strength. We will give you everything. You're the one we're living for. Jesus, we are yours. Hey, we're on our way to mine. Hey, we're waving to the skies. We will learn to trust God's power at work in us. Hey, we're on our way to Mars and beyond. God loves me more than I ever will know. God holds my heart and will never let go. Faith is the first step, we're never alone. We're part of God's story to Mars and beyond. God loves you more than you ever will know. God holds your heart and will never let go. Faith is the first step, we're never alone. We're part of God's story to Mars and beyond. Hey, we're on our way to Mars. Hey, we're waving to the sky. We will learn to trust God's power at work in us. Hey, we're on our way to Mars and beyond.
All right, great job, everybody.
Ah,
Yo, APP20, someday you could be a mission commander too. Why don't you start by trying to practice by reciting our last thing?
wait, what? All right then. um, who remembers our Bible story from last time?
Does anyone remember our story from last time? No? We got a picture right here. Does anyone remember what the picture is? Yeah, go ahead. Anyone, it's fine. I can't hear you guys. Here, maybe we can remind everybody if we remember what happened. What was one of our songs yesterday? It was roaring. Why did we start roaring? That's right. The story was about Daniel and the lion's den. You remember that, EPP20?
Yeah, we learned all about how Daniel had to have faith in the lion's den.
That's right. And you know what else we did yesterday? Ended up with our pointing verse. Did you remember that? Really? It's a bit of a long one. Here, I'm going to read it out loud again. And I'm going to put it right here from the Mission Command Journal. And I want you guys to read it back to me, all right? So, ready? Glory to God,
Glory to God,
who is able to do far beyond
who's able to do far and beyond
all that we could ask or imagine
all that we could ask for
by His power
for His power
at work within us.
at work within us.
All right. So, space.
It really does.
Now, are we ready to go to Mars and beyond?
Yeah.
All right. So, since we're going to be going beyond, our power launcher verse for today is to go beyond with boldness. So I want you guys to say that back to me, and I want it to be real nice and loud, okay? Go beyond with boldness.
Go beyond with boldness.
All right, one more time. Go beyond with boldness.
Go beyond with boldness.
All right. Okay, you can go beyond with boldness. Great job, everyone. And talking about boldness makes me think of our story for today.
It does? I can't wait to hear about the story. First, I know our voyagers are ready to sing a new song. Let's sing God Can Do.
All right, let's hear our new song. Are you guys ready? Yeah! All right, I got to put down the Mission Command Journal.
Shut a lion's mouth and change the minds of kings. God can make a leopard dance and cause the blind to see. God can raise the dead and God can calm a raging sea. I can't do it, but God can do it. Glory to God who can. God who can. Glory to God who can. Far beyond all that we could ask or imagine. By His power work within us, God can do. Far beyond all that we could ask or imagine. By His power work within us, God can do. God, give me compassion when I see someone in need. God, please give me courage in the face of enemies. Change my heart and change my mind to love as you love me. 'Cause I can't do it, but God can do it. Glory to God who can. God who can. Glory to God who can. God who can do. Far beyond all that we could ask or imagine. By His power work within us, God can do. Far beyond all that we could ask or imagine. By His power work within us, God can do. Far beyond all that we could ask or imagine. By His power work within us, God can do. Far beyond all that we could ask or imagine. By His power work within us, God can do.
All right, everyone. Good job. Good job with the song. Now I'm ready to move to command journal. We're also going to be having another video coming up right now.
Yay!
Ready to hear what God can do? All right.
Let's do it!
We're going to be having a video soon for you guys right now.
Alright.
The book of Esther shows how God can work behind the scenes. In this story, God worked behind the scenes to save the people from destruction. The story takes place in the country of Persia, a place where Jews were forced to live after being forced out of their own countries. The king of Persia, King Xerxes, wasn't exactly the best king. One day, he tried to get the queen to join him in what seemed like a bad situation, and she refused. The king lost his temper and kindly asked the queen to leave. Well, actually, he pretty rudely got rid of her. But now the king needed a new queen, so he looked all over the young ladies in the kingdom. When he saw Esther, he liked her. He didn't just like her, he liked her. The king liked her so much that he made her the new queen. But Esther had a secret. She and her cousin Mordecai, who worked at the king's gate, were Jews who'd been taken from their home and forced to live in Persia. But Mordecai had a big problem. Haman was one of the king's officials, and he thought that everyone should bow down to him, even the Jews. Mordecai refused to bow down to him, so Haman came up with a plan, not only to get rid of Mordecai, but also to get rid of all the Jewish people. Mordecai desperately needed to talk to his cousin, Queen Esther. He sent a message to her about Haman's evil plot. Mordecai told Esther,
"This bad guy Haman's really mean. He needs to be dismissed. I think you might even make queen for such a rhyme like this."
Sorry, Esther was made queen for such a time as this. Esther then planned to talk to the king. It was a daring plan because she knew she could get in a lot of trouble. She asked all the Jewish people to pray and then went to sing the king. He was kind and invited her in. Rather than just telling the king about Haman's plan, she invited both the king and Haman not just to one, but 2 dinner parties. At the second party, Queen Esther told the king that she was a Jew and that Haman planned to get rid of all the Jewish people. This made the king angry, and not just a little angry. It's the kind of angry where you have to leave the room, you're so mad. When the king returned, Haman was begging the queen to spare him. This angered the king even more, so he had Haman taken away. Not only were the Jewish people saved from Haman's plan, but Mordecai was promoted in the king's palace to Haman's old job and received the royal ring. And that's how it happened in the Bible.
Wow, Esther was a bold woman indeed. I want to be bold like her.
Not a bad goal to have. So, now that we're back, why don't we go over our voyage verse again? All right, so, glory to God,
Glory to God,
who is able to do far and
who is able to do far and beyond
all that we could ask
all that we could ask
or imagine by His power
or imagine by His power at work within us. Glory, Glory. Our verse has the same word glory as the song Glory, Glory.
Exactly right. Now, let's repeat our power luncher one more time, all right? Go beyond with boldness. You guys say that back to me?
Go beyond with boldness.
All right, now let's take time of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together to continue on this voyage through the stars as we try to go closer to you. We hope that you would give us the boldness to continue in our faith despite everything going on. Pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, I'll see you guys later. Okay?
See you later.
All right, space travelers. Is this on? Can you hear me? Hello. All right. Did you like that story about Queen Esther? Yeah. All right. Now, our power launcher is go beyond with boldness, but what does that mean? What does boldness mean? Who knows what that word means? Nobody knows. So Lyle, do you think you know? Say it louder. Well, sometimes we kind of use it as being rude, but not quite. Sarah, what do you think? Well, it's kind of like being brave. Being bold means speaking up for yourself. So sometimes we do call that rude. Like sometimes we'll say, "Oh, that child is very bold," but sometimes it just means you stand up and you speak up. So Queen Esther, now in this picture, she looks kind of mean, doesn't she? I put up this poster. I thought she looked kind of mean, but she's mad. What is she mad about? Who remembers from our video? Isaiah. Yes, and so he made a rule. Now, it was like the rule yesterday. Do you remember the rule that King Darius made Once he made the rule, he couldn't change it. And it was the same kind of rule. Back then, if a king made a rule, you couldn't change it no matter what. So he kind of tricked the king in. We have kind of 2 stories in a row where a king got tricked. And she tricked him into making this rule that everyone had to bow down to him, and then he was going to kill all the Jewish people. And there was lots of them, like thousands of them. He made this rule. And so we saw Mordecai sent that message to Esther, and she found out about it. And so she went to this party, and she made a party for them. And there she told the king that Haman was going to try to kill her and all of her people. Now, one thing they did in that story, they said, she was created for such a time as this. And this is kind of a phrase that's associated with Queen Esther. And that means God put you in this position to be in the right place at the right time so that you could save your people. So because she spoke up. Now, what they didn't say in the video is that when she went to the king had the power. Sarah and Logan might remember this story. We did this in Sunday school about a month ago. The king had the power. If you walked into his throne room without permission, he could kill you. So he had that power, but he had what they call the royal scepter. Do you remember the scepter we made? And if he extended that to you, you got saved. And fortunately, because he liked Esther, when she walked in there without permission, he allowed her to speak. And then she told him about Haman's plan, and she managed to save all of her people. And so the boldness is that she went into the king knowing that he could have her killed if he was not happy. She said a famous thing. She said, if I die, I die. So she was willing to go in there, risk being killed to save her people, because she knew the thousands and thousands of people, the Jews, would be killed if she didn't do anything. It was up to her. She was the only one. Do it. And she did it. So that's how our power launcher works, with going out in boldness. Sometimes we have to speak up when we see things are wrong. Do you ever see something wrong going on at school? No, all the kids are perfect? Not at my school. You know, sometimes you see kids doing things they shouldn't be doing. And this is where we can speak up, or we can tell somebody. We can either tell them they need to stop, or we can tell a grown-up. And sometimes you have to be brave about that, because sometimes they can be kind of mean. So that's some areas, like when we see things that are wrong, we can have the boldness that we can do these things. And God gives that to us. Just like in our Bible verse, where God gives us the power to go beyond what we could do. I can only do so much. God can do everything. So that is our power launcher for today. So we're going to keep these posters up all week to remind you of these wonderful Bible stories that we can learn such great lessons about God at. Now we are going to go and do our craft, and today we're going to make robot people. So I think you're going to like this. This is a fun craft. So let's go over to the tables, and don't touch anything. We kind of have to pass stuff out.